Welcome to the Medium with Celeste. We're really glad that you joined us today. Today we're going to make connections with Spirit, and we're also going to pass along lessons that I've learned from Spirit over the years, and I'm super excited to share with you. Welcome back. I'm so excited to pass along this message to you today because it's one of the things that I think we hear a lot about, but we don't necessarily understand how to do it. And the topic for today is forgiveness. Oftentimes when I'm working with people, I often hear Spirit talk about how people need to forgive. And it's not always about forgiving the people who have done you wrong. Oftentimes it's about forgiving yourself for being a part of something that was negative in your life. We don't always have control over everything that happens, and sometimes our reactions are less than desirable. Sometimes we lash out in anger, and sometimes we create animosity in relationships that we never really meant to even do. But we need to learn to forgive ourselves because it's all part of the lessons that we have in this life. And once we can forgive ourselves, it makes it easier to forgive those who have done wrong to us. And I know it sounds kind of cliche to forgive and forget, but it's not really about forgetting, it's about letting go and not allowing the past to be a determinant in your future. Oftentimes when Spirit brings up forgiveness, it comes from relationships that were turbulent or issues that a client had perhaps in the past and they're trying to get over in the future. And if we can forgive ourselves for making mistakes, that's when we start to learn the lesson within the mistakes, and we're able to move past it and not make the same mistakes. So do you date the same kind of person all the time, or have you always had the lousiest jobs? Most likely you're not learning a lesson within that, and you're not forgiving yourself for making bad choices. So you'll continue to make the same bad choices as opposed to learning from them and moving forward from them. And I see this often with relationships with people. They date the wrong person, the wrong type of person, they're constantly left alone or hurt, and they can't figure out how to get past it. Well, first of all, forgive yourself for making a bad judgment. Then forgive that person for not being the person you thought they were, and then move on. And you're able to then start to find a better rhythm in your life and start to attract more of what you truly want, which is probably not the other people that you've dated in the past. And with that, I always tell people, never go backwards, always go forward. So forgiveness is about having the opportunity to forgive, let go, and move forward. And that's the most important thing. And we'll be right back, and we'll have a lovely studio audience guest to meet with us for a reading, and you get to see how Spirit works, and we're looking forward to that. Welcome back. Our guest today is Trudy, so I want to thank her for coming in. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Good. So what I usually do is I just ground and balance, so you're going to see me sit here quietly just for a moment, and then we'll get started, okay? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. The first thing I do when I connect with people is I kind of get a feel for who they are. And your energy is just lovely.
Thank you.
I feel like everything you've done in your life has been for family. Everything's about family and about love and doing the best you can for other people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I keep coming in on your dad's side first. Very dominant side, very strong energy with them. So let me see what we've got to say over there. There's quite a few of them.
Yes.
To be fair, it's a big group of them. I can't talk to all of them, so I'm going to try to just pull out the most important. Okay? When your dad comes in, your father, what's his first name, please?
Otto.
I like his energy. He's tough, though. He's not warm and fuzzy, but he's got a good energy. Like he tried to do right by his family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And he said he was a good-looking man, so I'm going to give him that. But when he comes in, he looks quite young to me. And I don't know if that's because he died young or he'd rather me see him young, because I do feel like he aged in life. Like I do feel like he was around for a while. But if you imagine him, I want you to imagine him like in his 30s.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like
I can do that.
He wants to be remembered when he was youthful. I don't know if towards the end of his life he was weaker and he didn't have the same ability to do what he wanted to do, because that was so difficult for him. So he wants everyone to remember him as a strong man. So I need to give that to you and hope you understand that. But I like that about his personality because I don't know how to explain that to her either. He said to me, perception matters. You know, to him, how you carried yourself mattered. Does that make sense?
It did.
Okay. Like he's shining his shoes. They may not be new shoes, but they weren't going to be scuffed up when he went out to go to do anything in public. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because I got a shoe shine kit with him. But he has a good heart in everything he did. Again, maybe not the warmest man to everybody, but a good heart. Does that make sense?
To a point.
Yeah. Because I want to hug him, but I'm not family, so I don't know that would be an embrace that he would welcome. But if you were to go to hug him,
oh, he would love it.
He would hug you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So his energy is very much his love and his compassion, and that sweetness in him is definitely reserved for family. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And he loves your mom.
Very much.
Oh my goodness, loves your mom. Your mom could do no wrong in his eyes. I know they didn't always agree, but he loved her so very much. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. But he said, you have that kind of love too.
I hope so.
Does that make sense? He said you have a great... I'm listening. Every now and then I try to talk over him, and he stops me. He's like, let me finish. So he said to me, he said, you know, a great honor, like he pays honor to your husband, honor to your relationship. So I'm going to give it to you that way. He says it's a good one. It makes him happy that you're happy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you guys have had a good life together.
Yes.
Does that make sense? And he said to me, I'm listening. Your mom has also passed.
Yes.
And he said, she's telling me that I need to get out of the way, that I need to move so she can talk to you.
Oh.
It's almost like he's being like, she's like, your time is up. Your time is up. And I'm trying to explain to her that we still have plenty of time. But he said, again, that honor towards your mother, if she's asked me to move,
He will.
I'll move. Does that make sense? Okay. That's so funny. But your dad's parents, your grandparents, want to talk too. So let me just make your mom I'm going to ask her to sit for a second. I don't think it's going to go over well with your mother, but I'm going to ask her just to step aside for 1 second, because your grandmother and grandfather gave me this sense like they needed to communicate with you. I don't know if you didn't get to know them very well, but there's this sense of lost time, and I need to give that to you, okay? Let me just talk to them for 1 sec. You've heard stories about your grandmother and grandfather.
Right.
And I don't think you've heard bad things about them.
No.
I heard. He goes, you heard it too? And I'm like, yeah, I heard it too. But your grandmother and grandfather come through with, I would like to say, they didn't have an easy life, but they had a good one. Like they tried to approach everything with goodness, with happiness. Even when things were bad, they tried to bring joy to their children. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And they said to me, we didn't get time with you. We didn't get the kind of time with you that we would have liked, but we want you to know that we're still watching over you. That we are still a part of your life, even if you've never met us, even if you don't see us. We keep an eye on you because you're always important to us, even though we didn't get to have that relationship with you. Does that make sense? I like them.
Right, yeah.
I like them. I think they just had a good heart. And I'm pretty sure that's where your dad got it from. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Your mom goes to me, she goes, you just told me to sit down. And I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. I have to apologize to your mother. She's a strong woman.
Very strong.
She's not one to be told what to do. She's going to do what she was going to do anyway. Does that make sense? She keeps showing you caring for her or being with her an awful lot when she was alive. Does that make sense?
Yes.
She acts like you were her caregiver, that you were her...
And I was.
...her guardian. And she said, like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, she gives you a hug and kisses your cheek. Wet kisses, but they're kisses. But she says, I wouldn't have lived the life I did at the end or any part of my life if it wasn't for you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. She's put so much value into your relationship. She said, you always allowed her to be mom, even when you were the caregiver. And you always treated her with respect. But there was also the ability to be friends and to talk candidly together. Does that make sense?
And we did.
Yes. I love her energy. I think on the outside she might be tough, seem tough and opinionated and kind of set in her ways. But that she said, well, I lived my life. I knew what I was doing for me. That was her, her thought process. Like, I knew what I was doing because it was about me, and that's the life I lived. So I knew what was right for me. I didn't want other people telling me what was right for me. What's your husband's name?
Herb.
She said she loved him.
She did.
He's her son.
Yes.
In her heart, that's her son. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And she said to me, he is a doll. She describes him as a doll. And I have to honor that because to me, that says a lot about how he treated her. Does that make sense?
She became his mom.
Oh, 100%. That's why she said he's like a son to me. There's no deviation in their relationship between mother and son. It's not like mother and son-in-law. It's mother and son with those two. And I feel like he just had a way, like if you couldn't convince your mother of something, if she heard it from him, she might consider it. You were kind of like... Sometimes when they got together, you might have been on the back burner a little bit, but that's good. She needed that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What's your mother-in-law's name? You don't remember?
I never met her.
Okay.
Anna.
She comes in and she talks about your husband. They didn't get a lot of time together.
No, they didn't.
And she said to me, we never got a chance to get to know each other. So she stepped in front of your mom or in with your mom, thanking your mom for filling that role in his life. Does that make sense? And Anna said to me, she loves you. She said, you were just the right person for him.
Good.
You two are just the right people for each other. And she comes with a great deal of love. And she said, can you tell him I love him?
I will.
And I'm sorry that we didn't get to have a life together. There's so much about her I feel like he didn't get to know.
He didn't.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I don't know if he had another mother or like somebody who stepped in other than your mother as a mother. But it doesn't feel as close as your mom and him. Does that make sense?
It's true.
Okay. No offense. If there's a stepmom, I don't mean offense, but it's just
different.
The energy between your mom and him is much more loving and much more of that mother caregiver loving kind of vibration between the two of them. And Anna said to me, she said, I just wanted to thank you for loving him and taking care of him for me. And sometimes he might be a little stubborn, and she's sorry that runs in the family.
Understandably.
But I feel like you have the ability to balance that, to deal with that kind of, both of you have your own ability to be stubborn and resolve conflict that way. It actually works out perfectly fine. But she's funny. She's like, it runs in the family. I'm sorry.
She doesn't need to be.
I'm listening. Your mom said to me, she keeps talking about the children, your children. You have children.
Yes.
And she said they're good children. They're good kids. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But she talks about a child over there. So did she lose a child that you know of? You don't have any siblings over there?
I have a sister
Over there.
who's still alive.
Okay, she's still alive. Because she keeps talking about siblings, and I wasn't sure what she was talking about. Do you talk to your sister?
Yes.
Because I keep seeing a phone.
Yes,
Okay. And she said to me, can you tell her I said hello
I will.
and I send my love? Does your sister live further away from you? Because she
Yes.
keeps acting like you'd have to take a long trip to get
I
there.
would have to. She's
Okay.
in Virginia.
Okay, and she said, but you two are trying to plan a get-together right now. Or you need to plan a get-together.
Yeah.
One of the two, because she keeps putting you guys together. She said it's a long overdue visit. Somebody's got to move. Not move physically, move to visit. Does that make sense?
It's a thought, but it's
Not planned yet.
nothing- No,
Okay. But she keeps saying it should happen.
she would like it.
She said your sister would like it.
And she would, but her health doesn't permit it.
Okay. But you can.
But my health doesn't either at the moment. But it might in the future.
She said you're going to be able to see each other again.
That'd be good.
She keeps joking and saying all those, your mom's like, those new contraptions where you can do video talk.
Yeah.
That's what you two got to set up so you guys could see each other. She's like, I don't know about that stuff. I'm glad I'm not around for that. I don't know if somebody's tried to get you to learn this stuff, but she's like, I'm glad I don't have to do that. But she sends you a great deal of love. She said, I can't thank you enough for being my friend and being an amazing daughter, helping me with everything.
Thank you.
She's a lovely woman.
She is.
But she said you got your good looks from your dad.
Everybody tells me I look like her.
I think you do. But she thought your dad was quite
Yeah.
a good-looking guy.
And he was.
He was. Oh, I know. He told me.
He was.
And she keeps showing their wedding picture.
Yes.
And you have that out.
I do.
Because she said it's out on your wall. And
Yes,
you do
it's
stop, and I feel like you touch it or you talk to it, like you say hello to them. So know that they see you do that, and they want to honor that also, that you do take the time to say hello to them. And I'll leave you with that.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for taking the time.
You're welcome. Welcome back. We have Jennifer on the phone who's super excited to talk with us. So we're just going to bring her on, and you'll hear from Jennifer and myself. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, great. It took me a second. Technical difficulties. I can't figure out the phone. So I'm just going to ground and balance. I'm just going to be quiet for one moment, and then we'll get started, okay?
Okay.
I keep, when I tap into your energy, I know this is going to sound weird to you, but I just feel happy. I feel like you have a good energy. I feel like you're everybody's, your friends count on you. You're just one of those people that people can count on. And I feel like you're a really good person.
That's sweet.
Yeah, don't deny that, though. You're on air. Agree to that one. When I step into your energy, I step in on your mom's side first. So just give me one moment. What's your grandmother's name on mom's side?
Palmita.
You like her.
I love her.
I just want to hug her. I want to curl up on her lap and hug her.
Oh.
She's in the kitchen, though.
Mm-hmm.
If I could describe her joy was providing for her family, doing for her family.
Absolutely.
And I love that about her. And I feel like you may have gotten some of yourself, who you are, from this woman. She's a good role model in that sense of always taking care of family, always. It's the little things, that matter the most. It's the time, it's the energy, it's the food, it's the conversation. She hugs you. I can't hug you through the phone, but she hugs you so tight. So I need to pet. She's got big hugs for a little lady.
Yes, absolutely.
She's not a big lady. She's a little lady, but she's strong. She said it's been a very long time.
Yes, it has.
She talks about your mother a lot. She loves your mother very deeply. What's your mother's first name?
Elaine.
And she keeps talking about your mother as if your mother is still here.
She is.
And she's alive.
She is.
And she said to me, she's been having some struggles. But she's going to be okay through them. And that's what I need to tell you. She said, I need to, I don't know if your grandmother had an accent, but she talks with a little bit, like her intonation feels a little accented to me. But she comes in and she says, Mom's okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Mom's okay. You worry so much. Mom's okay. And she said, I keep seeing you helping Mom or trying to do little things for Mom.
Well, Mom lives far away from me, but
Yeah.
I do talk to her every single day.
And she said, you do the best you can. Yeah, but you like packages, or you guys send like things to each other. I keep seeing this interaction of talking and like pictures and that kind of thing. So it's a very inclusive relationship. You guys make sure each other are up to date on what's going on.
Yes, definitely.
And you do try to visit. It's not easy, but you do try to make a visit to her every now and then.
I do.
You'd like to go every 6 months, but it's not possible.
I do.
So don't feel bad when you can't go. Just enjoy the times that you can. What's your dad's first name?
James.
He passed?
No, he did not.
Okay. Because I was looking for him, but I didn't see him.
No, he's still with us.
But his energy comes in. So I don't know if that means that he had a health scare or he had something in his life that health-wise I want to say he came back from, or he's stronger now.
He has very, very strong energy alive.
Okay.
Overwhelming energy.
But he does, because your grandma keeps talking about him being like this powerhouse or this energetic. I don't know. He'll be 100 years old and building houses or something. I don't know. I just don't feel like he wants to go down ever.
Exactly.
And he's good to your mother. And it's almost like, I don't want to say this the wrong way, but it's almost like they live for each other. You know, your grandma said these two live for each other.
That might be true.
Is there someone else you wanted to talk to? I got like a minute, and your grandmother's just such a beautiful energy. I kind of just kept talking to her about your dad.
Yeah, I would like to talk to see if you could find Raymond anywhere there.
Raymond? And he's a family member?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's not with my grandmother.
So but he's a family member on your mother's side? Or father? Your mother's, okay. Because I'm looking at your dad's and I don't see him. He keeps talking about your mom.
Who does?
Raymond.
Yes, I'm sure he does.
Okay. So he's connected to your mother.
Yes.
But this is not a brother.
It is my brother.
Okay. No, I meant not a brother to your mom. I'm sorry. That's my fault.
No, he's my brother.
He said hello, by the way.
Mom.
He has a good energy to him, though.
Does he?
He said to me he didn't have as good an energy in life. So that's weird to say that he's healed or he's okay over there. He said, I'm at peace.
Oh, good.
I'm at peace. I don't have anything holding me back, and I don't have any demons anymore.
Oh, that's good.
So I need to give that to you. Unfortunately, time's up. I'm so sorry that I can't talk to Raymond longer. Your grandmother was a very strong energy in that. But Raymond sends you love, and he said thank you for loving him no matter what.
Oh, thank you.
You're the only one.
Thank you.
You're the only one who's forgiven him.
Really?
He says, "No, I'm just
I
kidding."
find it hard to believe, but
He says, "I'm just kidding." He's he's just a teaser.
yes, he is.
He's teasing you. So, but he said he sends your love, and he's like, Grandma really wanted to talk, and I wasn't going to talk over Grandma. It wouldn't end well for him. So
No.
I'm going to leave you with that because I have to go. But I thank you so much for calling in and being a part of this.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your.
You're welcome. You have a
time.
wonderful day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And I wish I had more time for all of you, but we have to close for now. So just remember forgiveness, not only of those around you, but for yourself.